Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is Monday movie review, and I'm going to go over my feelings about Rise of Skywalker. Spoiler alert, I mean the movie's been out a month? Almost a full month. Sorry if the tripod moves, the dog decides he likes to lay against the tripod lately. Anyway, so spoilers because the movie is going to be out. This has been out almost a month. And also because I kind of want to talk a little bit more about some of the finer details that I, thought about the movies. So be forewarned, if you haven't seen it, click off, go watch it, and then you can come back and listen to what I have to say about the movie like everyone else on the internet. So I am a huge Star Wars fan. I haven't always loved Star Wars. I was actually quite afraid of all the aliens in Star Wars when I was little. It took my dad latch-ditch effort to hopefully make me like Star Wars, and it was in middle school where I started loving it. Wasn't so scared of the aliens, and I really just enjoyed the story, and ever since then I've been a huge Star Wars fan. I'm a 501st member, I'm a Mandalorian Mercs member, and I'm a former Rebel Legion member, but hopefully I'll probably rejoin Rebel Legion if I ever get my Cara Dune costume finished, because I really love that girl. Oh, and I'm wearing the Baby Yoda Spirit jersey from Disney World. So love Star Wars, and I'm not a prequel hater. I think the prequels are awesome. They have good qualities, they have bad qualities, and I try to overlook the bad qualities and look at the story, rewatchability, and just generally how it makes me feel. I enjoy it. Jar Jar, I don't really like Jar Jar Binks. I feel that he is, like most people, but I don't hate him. I don't have deep animosity against him. I just don't feel like he was a great character. I think that, there's great things in the movies. And I think also, even though the story wasn't, amazingly awesome, I feel like George did take the time to have, a set plan with the trilogy. And he executed it more or less pretty good. Now, I think the problem with what are they, sequels? Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, is they didn't have that same, kind of story from the beginning. I think Rian Johnson kind of went on the fly and kind of did his own things. Supposedly, I'm not sure, we're not the fly against the wall. But I feel like there's some disjointedness between the story, just a little bit. I felt there are things that could have been explored more or told better. My one friend told me, I've never seen any other Rian Johnson movies. And he was like, Rian Johnson's a good director. He's just not a good Star Wars director. And, I don't hate The Last Jedi, but I don't really like The Last Jedi. I like things in The Last Jedi, and, the more I watch it, the more I'm It was one of those other movies, usually the more I watch a Star Wars film, the more I seem to enjoy it and, pick parts I like. The Last Jedi just kind of left me meh. So, and then with Rise of Skywalker, I wasn't as hyped for it. I felt that J.J. Abrams would do a good job, and, and I feel like he had to write a little bit of the ship, and so basically, I liked it. Was it the first time, I've seen it twice. I saw it when it first came out, and then I saw it actually last Friday, and when I first saw it, I felt woo, this is going fast. But then, kind of knowing what was coming the second time, I felt the pacing wasn't as light speed fast. And I felt he just had to get a lot of stuff established. I think them announcing that Ian McDiarmid was going to be in the next movie, established that Palpatine's back, so that us as an audience weren't going, what? Palpatine's back? And so so I think that was one, because I think if they had just been bam, Palpatine's back, I think people would have been what? But the hype for it, I think, helped kind of establish that, and so JJ didn't have to worry as much. I mean, you'll have fans that have no idea, that go into the movie blind, but, hardcore Star Wars fans kind of figured it out, especially if you went to Celebration Chicago. And so you know, early on, like, I forgot which friend, they were like, Rey's a Palpatine. And so, like, you know, having a few years of, like, Rey's a Palpatine. You know, I was like, I wasn't as shocked, because I'm like, them, like, introducing Palpatine, like, at Celebration, and I'm like, yeah, Rey's a Palpatine. So that whole reveal wasn't as, like, dun dun dun. And so, you know, it is what it is. You know, I think that it made sense, because I didn't really think Rey was a nobody. I like, the more, like, with like, a lot of people are like, oh, she's Luke's long lost daughter, but I'm like, that feels a little too neat, you know. But her having Palpatine's daughter, like, yeah, okay, you know, I could believe it. So yeah, so that whole reveal wasn't as, like, shocking, like, to me as it might have been for some people. I don't know, I didn't feel like it was that shocking. And, you know, the stories, I think, like, my biggest problem with, like, The Last Jedi was just, like, it just didn't feel coherent as a story, but this story felt coherent. You know, things kind of made sense. I mean, like, some things, okay, the thing that doesn't really make sense, and it just might be a new branch of lightsaber, or I mean, the Force, and also maybe because I haven't watched Rebels and stuff like that. Maybe I'm missing some Force knowledge. I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Like, but like the portals where, like, you know, Ben pulls out the lightsaber because Rey's, like, Force projecting it. I mean, is that possible? I mean, it's like, you know, like, they don't really explain anything, which is, like, it's fantasy. I mean, I can see, like, just use your imagination and maybe it makes sense. And, like, because, like, how they transport, like, objects, and how, like, you know, Kylo pulls off Rey's necklace and then he has it in his hands and he's in a different system. Like, things like that are just kind of like, oh, okay. JJ, I'm glad that you think that we understand this, but okay. So yeah, so it's just kind of like, it's just, I think those things are like, you know, people who, like, are like, what? Like, how does that happen? That's never happened before, but, you know, they're pushing the envelope of the Force, so it can happen. I mean, that stuff, like, it didn't bother me as much, but I mean, it's still like, how do they do that? You know? The character arc, this is kind of sporadic because I'm just pulling it out of my head. So the character arcs, you know, okay, so I'm gonna go over, like, I know a lot of, like, my Asian friends that are Star Wars fans are mad because of Rose Tico's character. I felt that, like, part of me loves, like, I do love Rose Tico. I think I like Kelly Tran. I'm not in love with Kelly Tran, but I like her, respect her as an actress. And, you know, I'm glad that they finally have an Asian person, you know, besides, like, Nien Nunb or Newt Gunray. I know, stereotypes. In the movie, I just felt like maybe, I felt like she was used how she needed to be used in this movie, because I think the focus on this movie is Rey and Kylo, and everybody else is a side character, really. Of course, like, you know, Poe Dameron gets more time, and, like, Finn gets more time just because they're with Rey, and I felt like maybe another human, like, on the ship would probably, like, detract from it. So I don't really, and I saw the article where they were trying to use a lot of the footage with Carrie Fisher with Kelly Tran, but it was just, like, disconnected because, you know, Carrie's not here anymore, and it just didn't feel natural. Because there were some scenes with Carrie Fisher, like, I did, like, she's looking at Rey, but you know that she's not, like, you just know that she's not really looking, like, you know, because it just feels a little, like, disconnected. But I don't know, like, I just felt like it was okay. Like, that wasn't, like, my huge gripe. I mean, could they have used her, like, more in the battle scenes? Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, like, that I felt, like, okay with. Like, that didn't really bother me. Finn, like, wanting to be with every single woman in the world, like, it felt like Finn was like, oh, look, it's Rey. Oh, look, it's Rose. Oh, look, it's this new character that I forget her name. Zana, or I forgot. Zoryu is the other character. Jana, I can't remember. So yeah, so it felt like Poe was like, oh, and like it felt like there's like some sexual tension between him and Bo. Like I'm like, Finn, cool it, just live. So yeah, so and then like Poe just seems the same. Like Poe just, they had some character growth, like a little bit from him being, you know, like hotshot, cocky, you know, arrogant pilot to a little bit more of him becoming the general. But I feel like they just, it was just way too much to really get his full arc, you know, like him, like I think they like hit it and then it was like they had to move on because the movie was done. And then, you know, Rey, I felt like Rey stayed pretty much the same in all three movies. Like she's already strong, she's feisty, she's, you know, like pretty much the same person she's always been. I mean, she also she does have her moments of insecurity, you know, like kind of like what they do with Luke, you know, facing the dark side part of their heritage and overcoming it. But as like, really, if you like from beginning to end, she pretty much stayed the same. Like there wasn't a lot of character development, like, you know, like not that it's like negative, like I still like her character, I like her character. But she didn't grow as much as, say, like Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. Like, Ben, I think, had the best character arc of all of the characters in the series. Like, that's the one thing I felt like for some characters, they knew exactly what they wanted. I think they've always kind of known what they wanted to do with Rey, and they've always kind of known what they wanted to do with Ben Solo, Kylo. So, I think their story arcs are pretty much well developed, and you know, I really liked, you know, Benlo, we'll just call him Benlo. His story arc had the best development of all the characters in this trilogy. You know, I enjoyed it. You know, there's parts of me that are like, oh, okay, you know, but otherwise, like, I'm satisfied. There were parts of me that cried in this movie. There's parts of me that kind of chuckled. You know, like, I really did enjoy the movie. Hux. I don't know with Hux. Like, Hux had a weird character development. Like, he was always supposed to be kind of like that whiny brat, you know, but I don't know. I guess because I like the actor, you know, but he definitely had an interesting character arc. Him being the mole, like someone, I can't remember, like one of my friends was like, Hux is a mole. And I don't think, like, I think that friend, how he thought the character, like, Hux being a mole was different than, like, how it actually portrayed in the movie. And also that general, like, would a general really lead, like, a Star Destroyer? I mean, wouldn't that be an admiral? But I'm pretty sure they called him General Pride. Was that his name? I swore I heard General Pride, but, you know, anyways. But it was interesting, you know, seeing the First Order and the Final Order, which, to me, I'm just like, First Order, Final Order. I guess the Emperor's not really that, like, you know, creative with the names. But it was like, okay, alright. But it was interesting, like, how, you know, one of his previous generals from the Empire is, like, playing the side. But I think it would have been more interesting if, like, they could have I mean, he's probably a brand new character. They probably just wrote him into this new movie. But it would have been, like, better if, like, maybe we saw him, like, sulking in the background. I don't know. Maybe we did in Last Jedi. I'd have to relook. But I did know that, like, in the books, they were, like, making points of, like, saying that there are a lot of, like, older Imperials that were, like, a little bit more, like, annoyed with, like, the final First Order, kind of like the younger generation, classic, you know, seniors versus the younger generation, and, you know, but, I mean, it kind of ties in, you know, like, of course, some of those older, you know, Imperials knew the plan, knew that the Final Order was, like, the ultimate plan for the Emperor, and that they knew that the Emperor was alive. So it was really interesting. Some other side notes, well, I didn't even really go over Carrie Fisher. I felt like they did what they needed to respect her. You know, I had one friend who was like, I don't really think they needed her at all. But, I mean, I think they utilized her well. And the scene with Harrison Ford, like, that was like, whoa. You know, like, you know, when he, like, you know, Ben's like about to say I love you and he just goes I know, and I'm like, oh, tears. You know? So that was done well. I felt that was done well. And, you know, like, I don't know, like, I think my only complaint is that I felt like, you know, this trilogy could have been so much better if they just had one solid plan. Like, you know, shit on the prequels as much as you want, but at least they had like a start to finish plan and that they kind of kept it together. I think, you know, having Rian Johnson kind of trying to put all these different spins on it kind of made it a little bit disjointed. I have a lot of friends that, like, you know, don't really want to see the third movie because they just hated The Last Jedi. And it doesn't even have to do with, like people, like, hate Holdo and like, stuff, but I just felt like it's not even that. Like, I have a hardcore feminist friend that doesn't like Holdo, you know, because I have, like, you know, because she just didn't, like, make sense a little bit. But, you know, it is what it is. We have what we have. And I will continue to enjoy Star Wars. I am so stoked about The Mandalorian. I'm not, like, mind blown like crazy like some of my friends are, but I really did enjoy it. And I'm really looking forward to season 2. Also The Witcher. Like, I wasn't gonna watch The Witcher, like, because, like, they say, like, their season 2 is not coming till 2021, and I'm like, ugh. I like to binge. Like, I like to wait till she's, like, a TV show is finished and then I can binge it all. But I wanted to watch it and I love it. So those two are, you know, anyway, sidetrack. I love Star Wars. I really am kind of sad that there's not going to be a new Star Wars for a few years. I mean, I know the TV shows, but TV shows are different. Like, you know, like I'm not a huge TV watcher. You know, I know the Obi-Wan show is coming out and I'm not as excited about that as I feel I should be. Just because I just don't watch TV as much. I think if it was like a movie, I'd be a little bit more stoked. But you know what? It's Star Wars. Star Wars is great, and I'll continue to love Star Wars. And if I have to rate Rise of Skywalker, I would give it a 4. I'll give it a 4 out of 5 kaiju bites. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I definitely, like, rewatching it. Yes, I wish I could rewatch it again, but, like, just life's way too busy. I'll just have to wait till it's on Disney Plus or DVD. I'm pretty sure, you know, it'll be on Disney Plus once it's out of the theaters. So yeah, I really did enjoy it. Is there anything else that I wanted to talk about? There's so much in the movies that, you know, and because I was, like, sitting there watching it, I was like, oh, I should talk about this. Oh, I should talk about that. Now I don't remember all those points. And I gotta go. So have a great week. Like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought. Like, any crazy theories or that you felt that, like, happened or anything. Just let me know. Talk to you later, guys. Subscribe.